You guys for coming out tonight. This is fun. This is fun doing this in a restaurant, actually, because I used to work in a restaurant. I think that's why I had some Vietnam flashbacks when I walked in through the door. And I almost bust a couple tables over there when I was waiting to go on. I worked in the restaurant business for a long time, a very long time. It could be argued too long. That would be a valid argument. It ended up being 20, let's see, I started in, so I guess it was like 20, ended up being like 20,000 years I worked in the restaurant industry. Or so. That was the real feel of it anyway. It's a very healthy way to live your life, for the record. There's a small chance you'll come out of it jaded, alcoholic, who dislikes just about everyone, like I did. But I think a lot of people enjoy the restaurant business. I've never met any of them, but I've read about them in like restaurant journals. They really enjoy working in restaurants. Getting out of the restaurant business is a lot like getting out of a really passionate but bad relationship. On the one hand, you kind of look back and you're like, God, I was just so miserable. How did I live like that? But on the other hand, you miss all the sex, drugs, and alcohol, so there's a balance. There's a balance in there somewhere. One of my favorite parts about working in the restaurant business, though, was my son was able to come work with me when he was like 15 years old. And it was great, because we got to spend a lot more time together, and we got to argue with each other in a brand new environment. But it was great. But I did notice a small shift in our relationship about a month after he started working there. Because when he started, he was a dishwasher, and I was the manager, I was running the whole place. But I think it took him about a month to realize that he was like 2 promotions away from being my equal. Because it's a pretty fast rise in that business. If you're there for 3 months, they just give you a set of keys and tell you to lock up when you're done. But there was one night my son and I were working. It was a Friday night. It was a full house, and we had people waiting for tables. And in the middle of the dinner rush, we ran out of salsa. And it was a Mexican restaurant, so that was a fairly big deal. But the kitchen staff was far too busy, so I told them, I was like, you guys keep cooking, just keep cooking. I will go make the salsa. Mr. Manager, I will go make the salsa, even in my really nice manager shirt. Cost me $9 a couple weeks ago at Walmart. I will go make the salsa. So I did. I went back and I started making salsa, and right then my son kind of goes bouncing past me. Literally bouncing past me. That's how he used to walk around at work. He used to bounce everywhere. Which was genius, because he always looked really busy. Like other people would see him and be like, God, that guy's getting some stuff done. He is getting after it right now. And he was just going to the bathroom or something. So he comes bouncing past me, and I was like, son. So I call him son. He's like, go grab me the big whisk from the back. I need the big whisk. And he just stopped and stared at me. Complete blank. It was very obvious he had no idea what a whisk was. So I tried to help him out. I was like, it's a big wiry looking tool. Looks like it'd be good for mixing. It's got like 8 wires coming out of it. Forms a cone at the end. It's got a green handle. Because our big whisk had a green handle, and that felt like a very important detail at the time. Green handle, green. So he nods and he walks away, and I was watching him. I was like, you know what? I think he's going to grab me the whisk. I really do. He bounced away with a lot of confidence there. I think he's going to get it done. So I'm finishing up the salsa, and he comes back like 30 seconds later, just in time, and he walks over to me, and he hands me a gallon of low-cal Italian dressing. Low-cal, pretty much the most opposite thing he could have possibly handed me. It was a gallon of low-cal Italian dressing. And what can I do? I just kind of smiled and shook my head and was like, people aren't getting salsa tonight. And I'll read about it on Yelp, and that's fine. And he was bewildered. He was very confused, because he very confidently handed me that gallon of salad dressing, thinking it was the whisk that I had asked for. He's like, why aren't you mixing? It did have a little green lid on it though. So I guess when I described it, he heard the word green, went to the back, said, well, there's some green, this must be it. He came back and he's like, there you are, Father, mix your salsa. Mix your salsa with the whisk that I have provided for you. With the glorious green handle. There's a goddamn lid, Alec. All right, that's all my time. Thank you.